If you were flying to Ireland from North America pre-2008, you were flying into Shannon, regardless of your final destination. This was known as the Shannon Stopover, and the history behind it is actually really interesting. It dates back to the very early days of aviation, where the very first transatlantic flights would make a stop in Foynes, Ireland, as their first stop after crossing the ocean. Foynes is just outside of Shannon, so when Shannon's airport had its runways extended after World War II, Ireland wanted to ensure that Shannon was their primary transatlantic gateway. They established Shannon as a customs-free airport, and Shannon was home to the world's very first duty-free shops. As planes started to get more efficient and they no longer had to make a stop in Ireland in order to make it all the way to Europe, Ireland saw an opportunity to ensure Shannon's position. They basically signed an agreement that said that every single flight leaving North America headed for Ireland had to stop in Shannon. Dublin is one of the most popular destinations in Ireland, so this meant that people were basically sitting through a 6-7+ hour flight from North America, stopping in Shannon, waiting, and then having to take back off for a less than an hour flight to Dublin. I don't know if that's worse or the reverse, where you have to fly Dublin to Shannon, then wait, and then do that long flight. Either way, this obviously felt really inconvenient if you weren't trying to go to Shannon. In 1993, airlines were able to negotiate so that only 50% of flights had to go to Shannon. The rule finally came to an end in the early 2000s. In 2005, they signed an agreement to gradually remove the restrictions, and then in 2007, the US and the EU signed the Open Skies Agreement. I should probably do an entire video on that, but it basically gave any airline in the US the ability to fly to any point in Europe and vice versa. So even though they had already started negotiations, this basically would have nullified the Shannon Stopover regardless. So yeah, that is the story behind the Shannon Stopover. As you can see, Dublin has quite a few transatlantic flights today, whereas Shannon has far less.